everyone. It's Shane Conto, your Wasteland Reviewer, and welcome to the Wasteland Retrospective here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network. This is my weekly show where my guests and I each pick a film related in some shape or form, and hopefully by the end of this episode, you have two films to go check out. And joining me, it is the first Thursday of the month, which means my wife Jess is here. Jess, thank you so much for coming on.
It's a pleasure to be here, Shane.
And it is a pleasure to have you to talk about a double dose of superhero Sam Raimi films. And we're going to be talking about 1990's Darkman as well as 2002's Spider-Man. Now, I'm pretty sure it's safe in saying that we've both seen Spider-Man plenty of times, but Darkman was a different kind of experience here as a brilliant scientist left for dead returns to exact revenge on the people who burned him alive. But Jess, what were your general thoughts on the film?
Sam Raimi directed this, right?
Correct.
I'm not surprised by that at all.
Hmm.
It's very in the same vein. More goth than Spider-Man, probably. I don't know. I haven't read any of the Darkman comics, so I can't say how faithful it was, but it was a good time.
Well, in in particular, this is quite the crazy ride. There's definitely that over the top, campy, dark comedy
Hmm.
about the film, and like you'll see Liam Neeson, who is our main character, Peyton Westlake, who turns into Darkman, like get enraged, and then it just starts having like thunder, lightning, fire, and stuff like that shooting up behind him on like this green screen type of projected background, and
Yeah,
like
there's a lot of early 90s CGI here.
and his face like snarling and Liam Neeson just leaning so heavily into it, and then immediately like storms off running in the most like goofy gangly kind of way possible.
It did stir some pretty good tantrums.
There's it definitely has a lot of those trappings of what you expect from like Sam Raimi's work, where it's like aggressive editing, aggressive visuals, where it just
Yeah,
has
there's some
this
great cuts.
like really intense kind of elements to it. I think Liam Neeson really leans into it. He plays it up really well. Obviously, he is a very large man. So
Mhm.
like he has this like physically intimidating presence as Darkman in his trench coat, fedora, and bandaged face combo, which it's very interesting kind of look with that like
It does give
grotesque.
even more evil Invisible Man.
Yes, it's like this grotesque noirish kind of private investigator type.
This would be a great Nick Cage role.
Oh my God, he would have been
Liam Neeson, I mean,
incredibly unhinged, even more than Liam Neeson.
this was an indirect suggestion from a coworker who said he hasn't really seen a lot of Liam Neeson movies except for this one, and I looked it up and thought this is directed by Sam Raimi. I've never seen it. Looks great,
Well, and
but this is an unintentionally good pairing with Naked Gun because he plays this role super serious.
yes, and because the thing is, like, this movie is very serious in content because, like, this scientist was mutilated and
Yeah,
left for
like
dead.
horribly burned.
He leaves his like, there's a lot of cliches, like he has his the love of his life played by Frances McDormand, and
Hmm.
like can they still be a thing together? And will she shun him for being grotesque, monstrous looking person? And then you have like this mafia crew, like these criminals led by Larry Drake, which also Ted Raimi's one of his goons, which is fun. Colin Friels is this like more businessy type.
Oh,
And
he's
this
the generic '80s evil businessman.
yes, straight out of like a RoboCop movie, except less fun than any of the
Yeah, he's
evil
the
businessmen
just
from
a
RoboCop.
prototype, just a stereotype.
Well, and it's still that kind of idea where like RoboCop is corporate dudes teaming up with organized criminals, and here you have that same basic kind of idea, and that's like the plot of things. Um, it's not the most original plot for sure, but it's one of those kinds of things where it has a lot of cliches, but when you have somebody like Sam Raimi just going fully all in
Yeah,
on the
they don't
craziness,
take this seriously at all. Nobody in
no,
this movie takes it seriously.
it
Like,
plays around with it. and it's entertaining, it's visceral. There, you brought up earlier, there's some really bad CGI in this.
Yeah,
Some
I love
moments
it.
are like absolutely
But
terrible.
like the hand when they first spawned the hand or whatever, that could have looked worse. I mean, it's a little PS1 graphic-y, but
Well, I think that was fine. Like, I'm not really concerned
no, there
about
were
that.
definitely some other
There was
moments.
some like stunt work that they were doing, and like it looks so like you just projected him in front of this screen
Yep.
kind of bad. But there's one practical effect, very Evil Dead kind of practical effects of like you see his hand like mutilating and burning and stuff like
Oh yeah,
that.
because he has time. He's Darkman because he can only stay out for so long with his new skin or whatever it is.
And
They don't try to explain that, which I appreciate. I mean, not too much.
yeah, and it's interesting because there's a lot of I kind of wish I paired this with Spider-Man 2 instead
Mm,
because there's a lot of things that you see Doc Ock having
weird
in
style.
common, like his layer and the trench coat and them being scientists who are like mutilated by their own work and then are like basically victims to their
Mm,
own stuff that was turned on them and stuff like that. There's a lot of interesting parallels there.
better haircuts in this.
Liam Neeson is a ton of fun. Frances McDormand is an amazing actor, and I think she does a really fine job here. Also
Yeah,
interesting,
she
she
didn't
got
give up a
cast
whole lot.
like her being the partner of Joel Cohen and the Coens and Sam Raimi being best buds. So like makes a whole lot of sense from like a casting standpoint.
Ideal blunt rotation.
Which is so funny because they all met because Holly Hunter was Frances McDormand's roommate.
Oh, I like her too.
That's how Frances McDormand like that's how I think that's how they met Holly Hunter to do Raising Arizona. So it's all small world kind of stuff. But
Also, you
obviously,
know.
this film is you're not going to be wowed by the plot or the mystery. Like you could see some of the plot twists coming like a mile
Yeah,
away.
I mean, you don't have to have a Rick and Morty enjoyer IQ to really follow.
I know what makes you cheer. Um, and this is just a wild ride, and also Ace, just like an Ace Bruce Campbell
Oh
cameo
yeah, I really enjoyed that.
at the very end of the
I'm
film.
so mad we missed the car cameo.
Yeah, I really wasn't looking for it in particular, but you know that Sam Raimi's
Love
car
that
pops up
was it
and everything.
Oldsmobile? Love that thing.
But Jess, do you have any other thoughts on Darkman?
No, I thought it was fun. You know, happy to have a recommendation from
That was a
someone
lot of
who
fun.
remembered the 90s more than me.
Be interested to see some of the sequels because they made some sequels out of it. But like, I don't know. I
Really?
don't think Sam. Well, he's a superhero now,
I
so
know.
like, I don't think Sam Raimi or Liam Neeson are attached to them at all.
I guess it makes sense. I just didn't think of it as, oh man, these look
These are
terrible.
straight to VOD, straight to video.
I do love schlock.
They replace Liam Neeson. They replace Sam Raimi. So like, yeah, it's that kind of thing.
Hmm.
What? Arnold Vosloo played Darkman in this? He's Emotep from The Mummy.
This is pre-mummy.
This was indeed pre-Mummy. But
He's giving OG Phantom of the Opera without the mask on. Die Dark Man
at
dies.
least, at least Bradford May and Arnold Vosloo are the ones that kept doing this. Darkman 3, die, Darkman, die.
It means the Dark Man, the.
There we go. And there definitely seems like there's been
Oh
like
my
some
god.
other low budget spin-offs and stuff like that.
It says know what this is about? Question mark. Feels passive aggressive. TV movie at 22 minutes. That's an episode, sir.
This is an unaired pilot
I was
for a
considered
show.
one episode of a TV show.
Well, because it never became a show, they just put it as a TV movie because it never had a series to follow. So I guess there you go.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if I'll be checking out the rest of these Darkman movies, but at least the first one's fun.
Well, it was recommended because it had Liam Neeson, so to be fair.
Liam Neeson's. But next up, we got 2002 Spider-Man. I'm still going to read the synopsis, even though I'm pretty sure most of you got this.
Oh my god.
After being bitten by a genetically modified spider, a shy teenager gains spider-like abilities that he uses to fight injustice as a masked superhero and face a vengeful enemy. So broad and generic for some
He's
of those details.
a man who's a spider.
But yes, this is based off of Marvel Comics Spider-Man and directed by Sam Raimi, starring Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, as for many millennials, our Spider-Man. Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane Watson,
I do like Andrew
Willem
Garfield.
Dafoe as Norman Osborn.
No offense to Toby, but Willem Dafoe really steals the show here.
I think that's a good place to start. Willem Dafoe does indeed
Did this
steal the show.
did this start his career as being the weird little guy everybody casts in their movie?
Well, he'd been acting for
I know he'd been acting, but like I feel like this is perhaps the beginning of his specifically
Boondock
weird little
Saints,
guy career.
maybe kind of thing,
I don't
because
remember
Boondock
anything
Saints
about
came a
that.
couple years before this. But like Willem Dafoe's so great in this because what he puts into every single line delivery
That's what I mean.
is just like that's the formula. Well, Peter, I'm a bit of a scientist myself.
I do love the something of a scientist.
It's- or it's like, can Spider-Man come out to play? Or just like all of his line readings are
He's so cunty. I love it.
so campy, ridiculous, and like him talking to himself, it's like, Osborn, you must attack the heart. And
Another good line.
like his Green Goblin voice versus his Norman Osborn voice, it has it all down.
He didn't even need the mask. He's goblin-y, goblin-esque.
Well, and of course they made it the Green Goblin more like military-esque in this
I
one.
mean, it makes sense. Look at the era this came out in. Post
Yeah.
9/11
And
tech.
the fact that like he
Whatever.
looks like a Power Rangers villain and not the Green Goblin, but
I
no,
don't care. I love it.
it's ridiculous. And there's a decent amount of practical stunts in the movie as well, on top of like some like pretty shoddy 2002 CGI. Um, especially some of like the ragdolling with like
Yeah,
the
what?
glider.
Yeah, well, and Spider-Man too.
Yes,
Looks pretty.
but the final confrontation is so brutal and visceral and bloody,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's just like they didn't pull any punches in that like abandoned greenhouse
You can
factory
tell
kind of.
Sam Raimi's like, I gotta put some horror elements in this.
Well, there was that jump scare in the fire where he goes up, it's like, come on, lady, and
Yeah,
turns around like and screams, and it's the Green Goblin
that's
under a
funny.
cloak. And that whole thing where like Spider-Man's jumping out of the way of the razor pumpkins is so cool. Like the action and stuff like this really does work, especially considering the limitations in terms of what they had at that point in terms of CGI and stuff like that. Obviously, the aughts were where CGI started to really come into play and play a prominent role in most blockbusters. But I think they do a fine job with this. And I think Sam Raimi does a good job of balancing tones. You get
Yeah,
the funny moments, you get the
Spider-Man's supposed to be silly, right? Isn't I haven't read the comics, but like not maybe not silly, but lighthearted.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Well,
Well,
and
yeah, you have that one.
he's quippy as hell. And like I don't think they quite get that as much
No,
here.
Toby's not. It's more. I was thinking that earlier. Did he grow into the being kind of sassy, or was that always part of his character? He was just too shy, too embarrassed to share.
Well, because like the Andrew Garfield got that down easy. Like he was throwing quips at everybody in the Amazing Spider-Man films. But like Tobey Maguire has his moments. Like it's not a great joke because it didn't age well, but like him and Bonesaw, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh yeah, where it's slightly
Like did you it
homophobic.
was like, did your husband buy you that?
Real Macho Man would probably be like, yeah, I kiss him every night.
But like this is it's a different type of Spider-Man, and obviously they made some interesting choices. Like he doesn't have web shooters; he literally shoots web from his
I love
wrists.
that they mock that in Homecoming.
Yes, and Far From Home, where they're just like grossed out by the fact that like
Far From Home, yeah. Was it Homecoming?
no, it's Homecoming's the first one, and then it's Far From Home, and then um
No Way Home.
No Way Home. Yep, and
Whichever one they all bond over being
No Way
Spider-Man.
Home is the one with the multiverse story that has the three Spider-Men in it. But like the fact that he's like actually like spider-ish with like the shooting the webs and stuff like that is an interesting and weird choice. And then you have
Very Sam Raimi though.
yes, and that's the thing because this is super campy at
Shows him
times.
being super smart in this. Like I feel like the other ones are like, I'm Peter Parker, I'm gonna tinker a lot. Like they all kind of have home labs and they're in like special high schools and stuff.
Well, I think because he doesn't have to make web shooters, you don't really get to see him
Yeah,
tinkering around. And you see him being like a photographer and knowing a bunch of weird fun facts that Harry steals to try to flirt with
he's a
Mary Jane.
smarmy rich guy though.
Yeah, James Franco looks like he's high as
No wonder,
high AF,
no
like
wonder his
every
dad
moment of
picked
it.
Tobey Maguire, his
But
favorite son.
yep. And like James Franco's fine here. Like for what he needs to do here, I don't know if I buy into it as much in the other films where he has like bigger, more intense roles. But like I think Tobey Maguire for what they wanted out of Peter Parker here
Yeah.
works. Cliff Robertson and Rosemary Harris are amazing as Uncle Ben and Aunt May because
Aw.
they are such great bits of casting. And even though Cliff Robertson's like only in a couple scenes in the movie, he steals it.
Breaks your heart.
Like they can't do any more Uncle Ben moments because this is the
Yeah.
definitive Uncle Ben moment. I don't think they could do better, so they just
We don't
shouldn't.
need to be in the year of our Lord 2025. We don't need to be tortured like that.
Sitting in Sam Raimi's car, arm over his shoulder, being
Um,
like, "With great power comes great responsibility." I'm just like,
that hurts. That hits so much worse now that like our grandparents are all gone. I
mhm.
feel like it's like
And Rosemary Harris is amazing as Aunt May, and like that, there's a really scary moment where she's praying, and then the goblin
she
comes
gets
in, like
terrorized by Wilma,
finish shit,
and she does. Bless her.
and he's just like cackling in the background.
God bless her. She finishes it,
But I think the
and
best,
she still plays Wing Woman.
yes, she's a
She's laying in her hospital bed, almost having died, thanks to
yep,
some unhinged man, and she's like, you know what?
still wants
Get it
Peter,
in,
Mary
Peter.
Jane, and like the upside down kiss is iconic, obviously, and
Yep.
like they're not like they're the Peter and Mary Jane that I grew up with. So like I feel attached to them, but like I think Kirsten Dunst does a really fine job
Yeah.
here, and I think Tobey Maguire does a
I
fine
hate
job.
for her.
It's just they're not like the Peter Parker and Mary Jane
No,
that you would
not my favorite.
expect. But like for what Sam Raimi's going for, I think they do a fine job.
I
That's
care the least about the romance out of everything in this movie. I care the least about that romance. I want to
very
see
fair. And like the
silly guys fighting each other.
and because like and also like the bridge sequence at the end is iconic and it's awesome, it's thrilling.
Hmm.
And like that shot of there's so many great shots in this movie of like the reflection of Mary Jane falling and then the um tr-
Kids.
kids in the
Tram.
tram
What?
falling or whatever
Yeah.
the and it's just in reflecting in the two eyes of
Hmm.
Spider-Man's mask. I'm like, that stuff's just amazing. And Sam Raimi really knows how to direct the hell out of a movie. And then Danny Elfman's score
Oh,
is just so good
he did that for us.
from the beginning, like the opening credits, all the way through the film. They're just so iconic and just breathe so much life into this film. And especially for like big spectacle, I think co- uh the composer's job is so important.
Hmm.
And there's so many great superhero soundtracks, and Danny Elfman has made two of them.
And he has to compete with what's going on screen. I
Mhm.
mean, not compete, but
Accentuate
yes.
and elevate. And between his Batman score and the Spider-Man score, they're just both excellent. And the best bit of casting in the whole entire movie is J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah
He was
Jameson.
meant to be J. Jonah Jameson, honestly.
I resent that.
I'm so surprised that J. Jonah
Slander is spoken in
Prince libel.
in, in Prince libel. And just like crap, crap, crap,
I'll give you
more crap.
$500.
Here, let me see them. Put that on, scrap the front page, put the front page.
Look, he is chaotic neutral, probably at its best, but he's not chaotic evil because he stands up for Peter Parker.
That was a nice moment, and I love that moment of them humanizing him. I wish um Robertson got a bigger role because like I really like that character in the animated show, but I'm trying to see they don't even have him very high up here
Who
on
was
the
it?
credits list. Um the guy that also works at the Daily Bugle because he's like a big character in the comics and
Mm.
he's a good why the hell don't I see him in IMDb here? But anyway, like even like Elizabeth Banks is a lot of fun popping up
Yeah,
there.
that was a pretty good. I mean, that highlights how freaking awkward he is as a person.
Bruce Campbell making a great
Love that.
cameo appearance as the ring announcer who gives him the name Spider-Man.
He was born to be that type of role.
Oh, here it is. Bill Nunn, who plays Robbie Robertson, who is
Yeah.
like he gets very minimal moments throughout these films, but like I think he brings a good presence to it. But like this is like a fun film. It has good intensity, it has visceral action, and it's a great origin story for Spider-Man and probably one of the best origin stories that they've put from a comic book movie
Hmm.
from a comic book into movies.
I really love that he didn't kill the spider. That's perhaps my favorite part.
He wouldn't.
I'm a big arachnid fan here.
Mhm. But and like the whole dynamic between Green Goblin and Spider-Man where the Goblin's like, "We should team up." And the fact that it's like, oh my god, and even the very end where he's pleading with Peter and he's just like Godspeed, Spider-Man,
I got it.
and he gets impaled by his glider. That was and the spider sense kicking in that moment. That's so great. It's like Peter, don't tell Harry, and just like slumps dead. And that I think this does a great job of building up. And like they stuffed way too much stuff in Spider-Man 3, but they did do a great payoff to Harry's descent throughout these movies where he
Mhm.
became the new goblin. But this is a great starting off point. Got even better with the second one. Studio interference made the third one not as good.
It's enjoyable though.
Honestly, I think it's a lot better than a lot of people give it credit for
Yeah,
because
whatever.
I think people's memories paint it as like a steaming pile of crap. Like Amazing Spider-Man 2. Um, which I'm not a fan of, but there are that's the thing. Any of the Spider-Man movies, no matter how good they are, have some really great elements to them. And this one, really focuses on the really strong elements and delivers a good movie. Do you have any other thoughts on Spider-Man?
No, I thought it was a good time. Again, I looked it up. I think that perhaps this wasn't. I think maybe Shadow of the Vampire was his first weird guy, little weird guy in the background role.
Yes, which came out in 2000
But
as
that
he plays
definitely,
Max Shrek.
yeah, that
Um,
definitely kicked it off though, because after this you had Life Aquatic, where he definitely fits that weird little guy
with
persona.
Klaus,
That was all. I was just thinking about that.
Willem Dafoe's a treasure,
What a
absolute
horrible
treasure.
picture on Wikipedia for his filmography, though. Did they just catch him after he emerged from the wilderness after 2 months? What was that?
But Willem Dafoe's an amazing actor and
What is
makes
this?
any movie better. And this is like the definitive Goblin, especially after that crap that they put in Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Dane DeHaan. Terrible. Terrible, terrible. But we never got to see Norman Osborn in that. Chris Cooper become the Goblin, which I think what they were planning on doing was the ultimate Goblin, where he turns into like an actual giant
Oh, yeah, like
goblin
the
monster.
Hulk, but not.
Yes. He kind of looks like the Abomination
I
a
have
little
seen
bit.
that, believe it or not.
But that is a wrap here on another episode of the Wasteland Retrospective. But Jess, thank you so much for coming on as always.
You're welcome.
And next week, I'll be diving into a couple of horror films found footage with Mike, the taking of Deborah Logan, and the first Paranormal Activity. First time watches for both of those for me. And next month, Jess and I are going to be diving into a couple of Vincent Price horror films with a House on Haunted Hill and also House of Usher as well from Roger Corman and adapted from,
The Fall of the House of Usher.
yep, Edgar Allan Poe.
He had a really interesting death. Look it up.
Look it up. Um, And too bad you can't watch House on Haunted Hill in the original 3D, where they like have hanging skeleton in the theater coming out at the audience because
Was it
tacky.
3D or 4D where they like actually took them off the screen?
I guess it was 4D, but they didn't call
Oh,
it 4D back
ooh,
then.
that's what they called it at Disney, so that's what I thought.
Yes, Shrek 4D. Um,
And Captain EO.
but thank you for listening. Make sure to like, comment, and share on this episode. What is your favorite Sam Raimi flick? Are you a Evil Dead fan? Or maybe Drag Me to Hell? Or you like his comic book films? Which the one we didn't talk about because it's not old enough is Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness.
It's a good pick
And
too.
if you he did a
I like it.
Western, Quick and the Dead. Oh,
Yeah.
Multiverse of Madness is so much better than people give it credit for. People just were mad because it didn't give them all the cameos they wanted. I'm sorry, Nick Cage Ghost Rider wasn't in the movie. Get over it.
He's too busy being in Spider-Verse.
You see, Spider Noir. Also, make sure to follow or subscribe if you ever listen to your podcast. The SPDM Crew Podcasting Network is ever expanding. There's so many great shows with all different types of interest for everybody, especially if you love movies. There's plenty of podcasts about that. And if you want to join the crew as a guest or starting your own podcast, please reach out to us on our website. If you like our logo, check out HiFlyer Creative for all your digital marketing needs. But most importantly, thank you as always for tuning in and supporting the Wasteland Retrospective here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.